Welcome back to the Ask Connie Anything series. My name is Connie Vanderzanden and I am a cash flow and business mentor. And today we're going to dive back into the question that Catherine Gregory asked. You can find her on Facebook at To and Fro Fam. The question again was how to pay yourself when you're just starting out in business, when you're figuring out how much you can reinvest as well. So the easy answer, just to get everybody on the same page, was a good metric to use is 50% of every dollar up to $250,000 in gross revenue is a metric you can start with. Unfortunately, when you're in startup phase, that may not be realistic, but it is something that you can have as a target that you're going to grow into. The first video we did, we talked about the importance of knowing how much minimum the business needs to support your household. Otherwise, you won't ever have the money to reinvest and people get into problems with debt. So knowing what that minimum amount is and what you would like it to grow into are key. So if you've not done that calculation, go back to the first video and watch it. But let's talk about reinvesting into a startup. It happens, it's common, and what do you do about it? So most startups, when we're just getting started, are either going to use some form of debt or loan, personal savings, or as money comes in, as they are grassrooting, getting this business started, they're going to take most of the money that comes in and put it right back into the business so they can do more operating, like more marketing, websites, whatever they're going to choose to do to get the word out there on a broader scale. So how much do you know how much you have for that and the pay? Well, the key thing on the pay video was if you're not contributing, if the business isn't contributing the minimum amount, then you're going to start using the business like a bank, and so there won't be those funds there for reinvesting. And that's what happens a lot of the time, and that's how debt increases for businesses. So being aware of what those numbers are key. The same with reinvesting. So you know what's going to happen, but where are your lines in the sand? How long of a reinvesting process are you willing to do? How much debt are you willing to create for this business? How long are you willing to not be paid by the business? These are all things to consider before you do your startup so you know where your risk factor is. Because if you don't know what that is, you won't know when to raise a white flag. So most of the times in the businesses I've worked with over the last 30 years, including myself, we get so stuck in that startup phase, head down, pushing hard, working all different kinds of hours. So usually in a startup phase, we have a job, so we're working the evenings or the weekends, and we're just paying attention of just getting the dollars in and moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. I rarely see them take a moment to step back and consider, are we still on the right path? So here's my story. I was stuck in that rut of hustle, hustle, hustle. When I went to grow the business from a sole proprietor, solo-based, home-based business, very low income, pretty much everything that came in was my own compensation. When I went to grow, I got commercial space, I had 2 full-time employees, I had a beautiful office. I lost sight of what my risk factor was because I was so focused on the hustle. But everything that came in was going back to reinvest or pay the expenses I already had. 98% of what was coming in went right back into the business. I wasn't paying myself. After 6 years of that, as I'm looking up from this big, deep money pit I created, I realized I can't go on. But I had created so much debt. I created $50,000 in debt that I didn't see a way out of it either. And I had to get support. So the key answer to this is don't get to that point where at the money pit that you've created and you're looking at the cash meat eating monster that I love to say I had has like swallowed everything. Before you get there, know where your stopping points are. And if you need support on that, have somebody rough draft out a budget for you, what your financial plan is. Talk with somebody, a business coach, your accountant, an accountability buddy, somebody else who's not so emotionally attached to what you're creating to help plug some numbers in. And no, you're not going to know the right number, the correct number for every item on that financial plan. Just take a wild ass guess. You just need to know where you're headed. So how much can you reinvest? Well, it depends on your risk, and it depends on where you're going. So once you know those two key things, then you can figure out how much of the money coming in you can pay yourself, so you're covering your minimum, and what the risk factors are that you're willing to do. All right, wishing you much love, success, and profits, and I'll see you on the next video. See ya.